Hello, am I back? Did I pause? It's a little rough if I'm lagging already. That means the internet at this new hotel is not as good as the old hotel, which is not good. Um, Pick two, we have a few options in white, in the Trapper and Adamant Will, which are both fine as playables, but nothing amazing. Tiana is okay, but artifact and equipment decks are not generally that good in constructed in draft. We're gonna pick the Eldest Reborn. This card is constructed playable and is amazing in this format. So much value. You get them to sacrifice a creature, they discard a card, and then you get to put a creature from your graveyard or from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Okay, so this is the third time I've been passed an Icy Manipulator in 3 drafts, and it's this card goes in every deck. This card is amazing, and it's great in every deck. It lets you scale your it's like removal that scales and moves up the food chain as your opponent plays bigger and bigger creatures. You can set up turns where you can tap 2 of their creatures, one at the end of their turn, one on your turn to get in an extra attack. It's very, very good. There's also a Sarah Angel, which is good in this format, but I think the Ice Manipulator is better. I'd rather pick this since I know it's going to go in every deck. Once again, I don't know why people are passing this. I feel like it's a first pick all over. Craig, it's red and white is equipment and auras, so things like Dub here. Blue and red is wizards and spells. Green and blue is kind of a kicker ramp combination. Green and black is Saprolings. What am I missing? Green and white is, I think, just token creation, and I'm sure I'm missing something. But those are them. I'm gonna pick a removal spell here. I didn't get a chance to talk about the rare really, but this is an okay card to get value from. You can cast it from graveyard or from exile, so this thing always comes back. But I'd rather have the Blessed Light. We've already picked a good white 2-drop, so I'm more likely to play this card. I'll see if there's any other archetypes I missed. There's not really a 5-color archetype for this guy, this Eternal Archmage. He's not very good. He's just an overcosted 3-color flyer, which is not amazing. Especially the 4/3. The 3 toughness kind of sucks. This is another cycle in this set that's really good. Or almost all of them are really good. It's these tapped lands that have a sacrifice effect. This one gets you draw you 2 cards. In this format, you're often playing 18 lands anyway, so this is a great way to get value even if you get flooded. So I'm going to pick this here. I think this is good enough to pick this early, and you might not play blue, but this is like a spell in my opinion. So, this is another new, or it was new at the time, type of spell in this format. It's a legendary sorcery, so you have to control a legendary creature or planeswalker in order to cast it. As you can see, it's very, very powerful. It deals X damage to 3 targets, but the requirement to have a legendary creature and have it in play, have it survive until you can play this is a little bit steep. And since we haven't seen a ton of red so far, I'm going to go for Blink of an Eye, which is a bounce spell that has a kicker to draw a card. It's pretty efficient. It resets the board, but it also keeps you on par with your cards. So normally bounce spells are a card disadvantage since it just bounces the card back to their hand and they can replay it, but this one keeps you on parity with cards. Okay, I'll talk about our pick here first. Jousting Lance is really good in this format since it gives you a way to attack with nearly every creature. Giving +2/+0 and then first strike when it attacks is really solid, and I like one of these in every deck. You don't want more than one, but this is actually really good even in slow decks. Even if we're playing blue, white, black control, that's actually a decent card in my opinion. Well, this is an interesting card to be here. This is more of the in the Wizards deck, but it does have some very good value when you play a lot of Wizards. It deals X damage, where X is the number of Wizards you control. But there's also some blue cards. We've picked some blue cards so far. We could be in blue and red Wizards. Divination is also very solid. I think I'm going to pick Divination here. Just the card advantage in this format is really good, so let's pick Divination. And there is a possibility we've kind of given up some red here that we should have taken, but that's okay. This pack is not amazing. This guy is okay as a 4-mana spell. You don't want to play him as a 1/1 menace, but with Kicker he becomes a 3/3 with menace, which is solid. I think here though I'm going to pick Arcane Flight. I like to have that. And I'll point out Navigator's Compass can fix your mana, but it's not amazing. Alright, we have a Wall, we have a 2/3, we have a 2/1 that can gain Indestructible, and a Navigator's Compass that gains us some life and turns one of our lands into the basic land of our choice, helping us splash, but it's card disadvantage. I'm going to pick the Drudge Sentinel here. This format is slow enough that an effect like this can actually come into play, and blocking and giving this guy Indestructible, or even attacking into a weak board, giving this guy Indestructible is actually pretty solid. Yeah, not really excited about a 2/3 for nothing when we don't have any Wizard synergies. Or sorry, a 2/3 for 3 with no abilities. So I'm going to pick this 5 damage, destroy target artifact sorcery. We'll pick a Gitu Lava Runner in case we do end up in the Wizards deck. There's not enough goblins to make this guy worth it, so we're going to pick Rescue actually. There is some scenarios where, oh, here's another one. We don't want to. We're going to throw those in the sideboard. Not an exciting card. Okay, but this card is pretty exciting. It's a 4/5 menace for 4, and then if you ever get to 10 mana, you get to make 8 2/2 black zombie tokens with menace, which just wins you the game on the spot most of the time. I'm going to pick this here. We could pick another one of these, but the value of these tap lands go down as you have multiples. We could pick the Arcanist, but we don't really have a ton of high mana cost instants and sorceries to pick. We could pick a 3/2 flyer, but that's pretty boring. Yeah, there's a... Oh, I forgot... You know what, Greg? I forgot about one of the decks. Black and White has a historic theme, and historic is artifacts, it's legendary creatures, it's sagas, and there's effects when they come into play. When each of them come into play, you get an effect. So there's that deck as well. We haven't seen any payoffs for that yet, but that is another deck that we could draft here. Skittering Surveyor is one of my favorite cards in this set because you get to fix your mana. It gets you a land to help you cast your more expensive kicker cards. It's quite good. It goes in every deck. You want one of these in every deck. But here I think I'm going to pick Eviscerate just for the efficiency. Eviscerate is 4 mana, destroy target creature. We need one of these kind of effects at least. And I think black right now is becoming our best color, even though we only have these 2 cards in black. Really, this will round out our black, and these 3 are now probably our best cards in our deck. Ooh, okay, so this rare is not great in our archetype. You can sacrifice creatures to make him cheaper, and he makes one target player's life total 10. But it's better in the Saproling deck where you have a lot of tokens to sacrifice. I'm going to pick Cloud Reader Sphinx here. It looks like blue is open. There's like this Deep Freeze card is pretty good. The Coldwater Snapper is solid as a hexproof guy. But this Cloud Reader Sphinx has a lot of value. Getting to scry 2 and have a 3/4 flyer that can finish off the game is really good. So we'll pick that here. And it looks kind of like we're in blue and black with maybe a white splash, maybe a little bit of red depending. This format is slow enough that we can splash. Okay, so our rare is a mythic rare. And it's a 4 mana that copies an instant or sorcery that you control, and it pumps your other wizards. I don't actually remember how good this card is. I think this would normally just be a flash 4 mana 3/3. I don't think there's enough wizards in black to make that worth it. It's either that or this counter spell. Let's pick it because I'm not quite sure, and we'll see if we actually end up playing this or not. If we have enough inexpensive instants and sorceries to copy, we can maybe make this work. Like I said, I don't think there's enough wizards if we do stick in blue and black to just play this outright. But let's see how our deck shapes out. Precognition Field is an interesting one, but it lets you cast instants and sorceries off the top of your library. But there's not enough. You want to play creatures in limited. This is a little more of a constructed card or a draft around card. There's Opt in this format, but Opt is actually really bad, or not really bad, but it's not as good in this format as it was in Strixhaven. You want card advantage in this format, not necessarily card filtering. Befuddle isn't really any better, but it's at least has an effect that could turn into a 2-for-1. Gives a creature -4/-0. There's some cool cards in this pack. Wild Onslaught is really good. Giving all your creatures +2, or 2 +1/+1 counters is really solid. But we're just going to pick a removal spell here and stick in black. Hasn't been a whole lot of green that I've seen that I really like. Although cards like this Mammoth Spider card are quite good. This is a really good blocker in this format, and it stalls your opponent a lot. Curator's Word isn't really worth it. It has to enchant a historic permanent for it to be worth it, and I don't find that works out very often. I'm just going to pick Divest here. This isn't a very good card either. I don't think we'll play this unless we're really hurting for low drops, but it's okay. We'll probably not play it. We'll just ship it to the sideboard here. It's interesting that this card is still here, this Fire Fletcher card. This is a really good card. Whenever you kick a spell, it gets a 1/1 counter and damages your opponent. We're going to pick this Diligent Excavator, which mills when we play a historic spell. It's not amazing. We probably this won't make the cut in our deck, but if we get a couple of these and we have enough artifacts, we could become kind of a mill deck at this point. This Memorial wheeled to us, which I'm very surprised about. I'm going to pick this here. Like I said, having these lands as ways to mitigate flood when you're playing 18 or even 19 lands is really solid. We're going to pick this Tolarian Scholar. The Artificer's Assistant, getting a scry when you cast a historic spell isn't really worth it. Not on a 1/1 flyer. So we'll pick Tolarian Scholar. Let's see here. We'll round out. I guess this is a 5-drop that's not great. It lets you exile a historic permanent and return it to the battlefield. So it can do some cool stuff like reset the Eldest Reborn. There's a chance that we play it for that kind of an effect. So you can actually put the trigger of this on the stack, flash in the Sentinel, and get to reset it and do all 3 stages again, which is awesome. But like I said, I'm not. I don't think it's going to make the cut. There's a chance we might play Opt actually, so we're gonna pick this over the rare. We don't need the rare. We're not rare drafting in this. Okay, so pack 3, pick 1. Traxos is one of the best reasons to be in the historic deck. Getting to untap this card when you play a historic spell is really awesome. It's a 4-mana 7/7 trample. It can just take over the game. It is a little difficult to activate this and keep this untapping. I'm just going to do a quick check of how many creatures we have. We're very low on creatures. I don't think we're going to play white right now. The other card in this pack I want to talk about is Tatyova, Benthic Druid. I think this might be our pick here. This card is nuts. It lets you draw a card and gain a life every time you play a land. Actually, I'm gonna pick Traxos. Sorry, that was a last minute switch. We're gonna pick Traxos here and see if we can have enough ways to trigger it. There's also a couple ways to untap this with there's a 2-mana Voltaic Servant that can untap this. I think we might be able to do it in this deck now that I look at our historic spells. And look at this, we get another Josu Ves. I don't know how often this is going to rot in our hand, as we have 2 of them. Like, we can just play one out as a 4-mana 4/5 and our opponent will have to deal with it. I think that's pretty good. And it untaps Traxos if we do end up playing Traxos here. I do lament passing a really good 2-drop in the Knight of Malice and another good 2-drop removal spell, but I think the Josu Ves is good enough that we'll pick that here. Okay, so now we really need to round out our 2 and 3 drop slots to make this into a deck that's worth playing. Really looking for some low drop creatures. I don't really want to have to play a Diligent Excavator in this deck, or just low removal. So I might take a card like Deep Freeze here. Making any creature they control into an 0/4 defender is not the worst thing in the world. There's also Weight of Memory is pretty good at it draws you 3 cards, and Fungal Infection is pretty solid as a 1-mana removal spell. But we'll pick Deep Freeze here. I think it just hits more targets, so I'd rather have that. Here we have the Academy Journey Mage is really good. It bounces a creature when it comes into play, and if you control a wizard, it costs 1 less. That's really solid. Relic Runner kind of goes with our historic theme a little bit, where we can make this unblockable, but it's quite weak. But I guess we have enough 4-drops. Yeah, our curve is probably high enough that I'm actually going to pick this Relic Runner. Well, yeah, I'm going to pick the Relic Runner here. It's better that we fill out our 2-drop slot in case we don't get an opportunity to do that again. Okay, so Lich's Mastery has a lot of text. It essentially says you can't play this in limited. There's too many abilities on here that don't interact with anything. Not a great card to pick. This pack is not very good for us at all, actually. There's a lot of good green creature cards in here, and the only card that I would really consider taking here is Soul Salvage. I don't even know if we'll end up playing this, but it's better than We Are Not Splashing, and the Short Sword is not as good as Jousting Lance, so we'll pick that. Oh, brutal. And now it really looks like we should have maybe been in blue and red in this draft. This Adeliz, the Cinderwave, is really good. I think it's way too late to switch into blue-red at all, but there's nothing else we'll play. I'm not going to pick another Befuddle here, so I'm just going to pick her. We'll lament that. That's really sad. I think we could have had a pretty good blue and red deck, although red was really not there in pack 2, so I'm not sure if that's really what if we could have saved ourselves by going blue-red. Here I'm just going to pick a 2-drop. Not a great 2-drop, but we might end up playing it. Oh, here's the Voltaic Servant. So this is a good card for us to pick here for Traxos. So this does 2 things. We can, it does one thing. It untaps an artifact at the end of your turn. But for us, it can untap Icy Manipulator or Traxos, and so this is definitely worth picking here. It's a neat little combo, and like I said, this format is slow enough that I think these cards we'll get a chance to play these 2 together, and our opponent will have to find a way to deal with it. All right, some more 4-drops. We don't really need any more 4-drops in our deck, but we'll take maybe this Cabal Paladin, put it in the sideboard. This Final Parting, it searches for 2 cards, one in the hand, the other in the graveyard. We don't really have a good way to take advantage of the graveyard side of this, so it's not worth playing. I guess we have enough legendary creatures that we could consider this, so we'll take this one. It gives a creature +2/+1, but the legendary part of this, getting lifelink, is really the only reason to play it. We're going to pick this 9/3 legendary guy named Yargle. We're going to pick this just because it's the only card left in that pack that we'd want. But this is pretty cool if we get to play Arcane Flight on it. Make it a 10-4 and attack with a flyer out of nowhere. That's pretty good. We'll pick this Guardians. Don't think we'll play that either. And we'll just pick some cards we aren't going to play here. Alright, so let's see how this draft went. Like I said, I think we want to play 18 lands. We probably want to cut spells that don't draw us, get us card advantage. We might end up playing Opt because our curve is not great, and we're playing some very vanilla creatures like these guys. Let's check our creature count here. We have 14 creatures. I think that's pretty low for this format, but I think we're also going to cut a creature like this Guardians or the Sentinel. I don't mind this Sentinel as a way to save some of our historic permanents, so I'm going to cut this Guardians. And then we're going to have 2 more cuts here. This Diligent Excavator isn't great in our deck, but we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ways to trigger it. No, that's not worth it. A 1/3 with no abilities isn't really worth it. I'd rather have this 2/2 even. So we're gonna play that. Jousting Lance is kind of iffy in our deck. Befuddle isn't great. Yeah, this deck is a little weak on the bottom end here. We do have some really good top end stuff, but the lower part of our curve isn't great. I think I'm actually going to end up cutting this Jousting Lance that I said would make it into most decks. I think between Arcane Flight and Jousting Lance, we want to pick one. And Arcane Flight in our deck is pretty good with a card like Yargle or a card like Traxos or Josuves as just a way to end the game at a certain point. I'd rather have that than the Jousting Lance, I think. So we're going to cut Jousting Lance. Let's see here. Or we could even cut Befuddle. Befuddle is not great in our deck since we won't have a ton of ways to, we'll have to gang up on a creature with our low drops and then make it smaller in order to get value out of this. So maybe actually I cut Befuddle and we keep in Jousting Lance as a way to, just to give us a way to win with some of our lower powered creatures. But this deck is full of 2-for-1s, which is good for us. Like Blink of an Eye is like 1.5 for 1. Soul Salvage, returning 2 creatures, is a 2-for-1. Divination is a 2-for-1. We have a bunch of good removal, and I think this should be okay. We have the Memorials to Genius, which is nice as a way to give us some late game staying power as well. So let's fix our mana. So we're about even. So I'm going to add another island here. I don't think the double on this is enough of a reason to play an extra swamp over an island. So let's put in another island. And I think we'll give this a try. Let me just check what quests we had, and we can complete both of them with blue spells. So let's play some Premier Dominaria Draft. Sharon, how are you tonight? It seems like you joined in a little late. I got, 12 messages from Greg before you joined in. Probably busy doing something else. Dominaria is maybe a boring format to watch, though. I kind of realize. I think Travis said that in his stream, and he might be right. Maybe it might be a little boring to watch, but you guys probably don't know all the cards yet in this either. So, or you haven't seen them in a long time. So I think it'll be okay. Paste here. Well, that's okay, Sharon. Okay, we're gonna keep this. It's not a great hand, but it has some stuff we can play at 3 and 2, and a couple removal spells. Like I said, this format is slower, So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So our opponent getting to choose a artifact or creature card and making us discard it. It's not bad for them. Get rid of our wizard before we get to actually use it, which is too bad. And look at this, how slow this is. Our opponent has only played one spell, haven't played a creature yet. We're playing a 2/3. This kind of a format really makes you eke out value wherever you can here. It's something that I like. I like when I play Magic. I like eking out value out of small corner case interactions, or waiting to cast a spell until the right time is really nice. Our opponent looks a little bit mana screwed at the moment, so we're just going to keep attacking here. See if they use a removal spell on our 2/3. And they do. So we have an option to bounce this, but I don't think that's worth it. We'll let that resolve. So you can see this is a little slow. Our opponent is playing black-white, but they could also be playing another color in there. It's not unheard of to play 3 colors even with no fixing, because you'll have 18 lands and you'll have a lot of opportunity to draw cards. Like here, for example, like we have nothing to do really except for attack, and we get to draw 2 cards off our Memorial to Genius, which is really solid as a way to keep us moving, even though we drew, even though this is a land. Okay, so our opponent playing some flyers, which is good, and they're gaining some life. I like this Windgrace Acolyte. It's fairly solid, but we didn't get a chance to pick one when we wanted it, I don't think. Alright, so let's attack, and we'll play a flyer of our own here, and scry. We could play the Josuves and try to keep up Blink of an Eye, but I don't think that's worth it. This Arcane Flight will likely sit in our hand until we have a big creature to put it on, a big ground creature, but that's okay. We'll wait until our opponent uses up their removal before we get there. Okay, so our opponent playing Dub, giving first strike, Dub the Sir Knight Windgrace Acolyte, and gives them first strike so we can't block. That's okay. Ooh, and now we have a Traxos. That's a good target for the Arcane Flight. Although I don't think we're going to play it this turn. I think we really want to get rid of this Dub on the Windgrace Acolyte, and I don't mind letting them gain another 3 life off of it. So I think we're gonna try and bounce it with Kicker here and get rid of that Dub. Yeah, there we go. And we'll attack for 5. So now we have a pretty good line here where oh, well, not anymore. We're going to get divested again. Jeez. Kind of crazy, actually. Our opponent getting 2 divests and having them at the right time, too. There's a point where they wouldn't have gotten anything out of our hand. Our opponent milling some okay white and black cards, but nothing amazing. So I think we want to play Traxos first here and then play the Eldest Reborn, even if it gives them an opportunity to play another creature out and save their Windgrace Acolyte. I think playing this to untap Traxos and attacking is a better play. So we're gonna swing with both of these guys and play out Traxos, and hopefully next turn we'll get to play the Eldest Reborn, untap Traxos, and attack. This Coende guy is really solid, giving himself, or he has double strike and he gives our other creatures with first strike double strike is really solid. And our opponent exiled our Traxos, so they were really scared of it with the Blessed Light. But that's okay, because that gives us, we still have 2 creatures to attack with here. So put them to 5, and we are going to try and bury them here and play the Eldest Reborn. This way we'll get rid of their only creature. They'll have to discard a card, and then we get to return a creature from either our graveyard or their graveyard to play. Ooh, this is a really good card. What is this? A Thran Temporal Gateway. So our opponent playing some interesting cards. Oh, they do not care. They think they're dead. So, you can see it's more about this format is more about the card advantage there. We won that game because we did 2-for-1s. We bounced the Windgrace Acolyte and got rid of their aura in dub. We played we had Memorial to Genius to draw some cards, and we had Eldest Reborn to give us a 2-for-1. And that's how you win these games, is looking for those 2-for-1 opportunities and not putting yourself in a place to get 2-for-1. So I highly suggest in this format that if you, for example, like if you have a removal spell and your opponent is attacking with a creature, but in a couple turns you'll be able to block that creature profitably, I think you wait. You hold your removal, you take a few damage, and you look for extra value. And that's kind of more the way I'm used to playing Magic than the regular Strixhaven draft that's been going on. But let's see if it works out for us here, because our deck is a little underpowered, and I mean, we're still going to run into situations like this where we can't keep a hand. So, ooh, yeah, this is also not a good hand. This format is pretty slow, and we really wish that one of these islands was a swamp. Geez, do we go to 5 here? We don't have anything to play. Like, we literally cannot play anything that affects the board. We are on the play. I think we're gonna keep this and hope we draw into something. I think that's better than trying to mulligan again. And I think we're gonna put a land on the bottom. No. Yeah, we'll put a land on the bottom since we have 18 of them. Okay. So we're really hoping to draw another swamp or another creature, something to equip with the Jousting Lance. Our opponent being very aggressive, playing the Dauntless Bodyguard with nothing to choose with the ability. You normally protect one of your better creatures with the Dauntless Bodyguard, but ooh, they too are gonna play a Jousting Lance. I wonder if I deep freeze this. Probably not. We're just gonna pass the turn. I could play deep freeze and make this into an 0-4 wall, but I'm kind of hoping that they play something a little better or equip the Jousting Lance before I do that. Or maybe now that they have no play. Let me see here. I did get a run-in, Sharon. It was very short, but I did get a run-in. I think we're just gonna pass the turn here again. Our opponent does seem to have a fairly aggressive deck, but they don't seem to be. They're a little stuck here on mana. They don't seem to be doing a whole lot. I'm hesitant to just run out a bunch of spells. Okay, so now I feel comfortable playing. Well, we're gonna play Traxos first, and hopefully play Josu Vest on tap out here. Oh man, but they're gonna play Seal Away and exile our tapped creature. That's too bad. Well, at least Seal Away got used, and it didn't get used on our Josu Vest either, so. Ooh, very aggressive by our opponent, coming in with the 4-power first striker, the Dauntless Bodyguard. And I'm going to play an island, and I'm wondering here if now I deep freeze this Dauntless Bodyguard. I am at 10. No, let's play out the Josu Vest. This can block our opponent's Dauntless Bodyguard fairly well, I think. We're not going to put the Arcane Flight on it. I still think it's too early to open ourselves up to a 2-for-1 like that. But if our opponent doesn't, if we have another way to stabilize here, our opponent doesn't remove it, maybe we'll end up Arcane Flighting the Josu to keep going through for damage. So our opponent was a little stuck on colors, and they have this Marwen, the Nurturer, which is pretty good. It gets a 1/1 counter every time they play an elf, and you can add mana equal to its power by tapping it. So it kind of fuels itself, which is nice. But here I think we're going to play the Eldest Reborn, and like I said, we have this cool combo with the Sentinel where we can exile it and return it at the beginning of the end step. So we might actually get 2 rounds out of this Eldest Reborn. I think that's going to be kind of my plan here on how we're going to try and win this game. So I'm going to play it out, see what our opponent sacrifices. If they want to keep the Marwen around, I think we know they're kind of stuck on green mana, or they're quite stuck on green mana. And if they keep the Bodyguard around, I'm a little more worried about the aggression that our opponent has going on. Okay, so that makes me happy, I think, to attack here. Oh, actually, maybe not. They can just equip this Jousting Lance. You know, I'm not going to attack. Keep this guy back for a block. I think here when we're at 10, our life total is low enough that we, you know, if I attack there, sure, they'd go to 16, but likely they would attack for 4, and we'd be down to 6, which isn't great. Ooh, and our opponent getting to go for 2 lands with a kicked Grow from the Ashes. Oh, but they aren't splashing anything, which is interesting. Oh my, and they get to destroy our Eldest Reborn before it gets any real value. That is too bad. Oh man. Okay, well, we don't have a good way to bring this back, so that's too bad. Alright, so now I think we're going to start putting some pressure on our opponent. Our opponent has a shit ton of mana. Yeah, let's just attack with Josu, and we're going to keep the Sentinel up as a flash creature that we can ambush one of their creatures with, or save our Josu Vest if they have another Seal Away or whatever. Opponent thinking about attacking here, but they don't, which is probably good for them. And then here, depending if our opponent is gonna, oh, okay, they're gonna play a huge creature. It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure whether I should play this Sentinel out as just a blocker. I think I do this now. Our opponent's down to 1 card. The likelihood that they have a removal spell for Josu that we're gonna get some value out of this with is low, so I'm going to play this out just so we have a blocker to use here. And we're not going to exile anything. Alright, so here we're going to deep freeze their big threat, and I think now we're going to play this Arcane Flight and start putting in some work. Or maybe not this turn. This turn we don't get to play both of these, and we only have the 1 blocker, so I lied. We're just going to play out Voltaic Servant and stay back for a turn. And then next turn we'll Arcane Flight on Josuves if he's still around and start attacking. Or even just put the Jousting Lance on. We'll see how this turns out. So our opponent just overloading the board with creatures, which is what green and white does. We'll have to watch out for their Jousting Lance. It turns any of their creatures into a relevant threat here. So actually, yeah, we might want to keep Josuves back since it can block this knight with first strike here. Yeah, interesting. In this case, I think I'm gonna. So I'll play a land, so we can draw a lot of cards with this Memorial. But I think I'm gonna Arcane Flight. We want to get a clock going on our opponent here. I'm gonna Arcane Flight the Sentinel and start attacking with flying. Because I think we can survive one turn here of our opponent attacking with, even if they attack with everything, we'll take 4 or 5, and then hopefully our 2 cards here. Oh, and look at that. That's the second sideboard level card I've seen them play that I'm not happy about. Broken Bond to destroy an artifact or enchantment and pierce the sky to deal 7 damage. It's a little rough. Okay, we'll end the turn here. Like I said, I think we have to hope that we survive this next turn, we eat a couple of their creatures, and then I guess we're going to try and stabilize with the cards off of Memorial of Genius, or Memorial to Genius. I was not expecting a Pierce the Sky. We played right into that. Which is too bad. And our opponent, if they have any kind of pump spell, mass pump spell here, we're in trouble. So we're looking to try and stabilize before they get to that point, or take control of the game before they get to that point. Okay, so no reason to play the Master Wizard right now. Hopefully we draw an instant or sorcery spell that we can copy with her. But there's also no harm in putting our Jousting Lance onto our Voltaic Servant to make ourselves have two good blockers, and we'll pass the turn to our opponent. Yeah, ouchie, Grego. We didn't do too well. Ooh, and our opponent just playing the heavy hitters. That's a little rough. We'll definitely have to find some removal for the Primordial Worm. The good news is this doesn't have trample, so we're not in terrible shape, but it's definitely not a good thing for us to be facing down that 9/6 first striker. Sharon. Yeah, the opponent has they've done a surprisingly good job of killing all our value. It's interesting. Like I do really think it's kind of lucky that they had these two cards when they did. Like if they had them in reverse order, or maybe they've had them both since the start of the game, but those cards are not really that great in the grand scheme of things. So I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that they're doing that. And we're gonna have to chump block here until we find a removal spell, which is kind of rough. Ooh, and our opponent getting more counters on Morrowind too. If we draw Eviscerate though, we get to copy it and kill 2 of their creatures. It's pretty solid. So let's see if we can find one with I guess we still can't play that, but yeah, we're gonna try and find one with our Scry here. Nope, gonna have to ship both of those away. Let's hope we get an instant or sorcery on our next draw. And I'm gonna move. I think I'm going to move the Jousting Lance to the Cloud Reader Sphinx here. There's no reason to hold up the 3 mana, and I think I'm going to block with the Servant anyway. So we'll move the Jousting Lance off of it to use our mana that turn. Come on, Eviscerate. We need exactly Eviscerate off the top of our deck, and then we have a chance to claw back into this game. Also, Sharon, you know, that's often how I get burnt playing Magic. Let's wait and let's just take a few more damage. Just a few more. It's not a big deal. And then we end up getting killed. So our opponent debating putting their Jousting Lance onto Morrowind, since that's a pretty good attack for them. The 7/6 will still get to attack. Oh, but they decided not to. Okay, so that's okay. We're gonna chump here. Come on, Eviscerate. Ooh, playing some more elves. Alright. Well, it's not Eviscerate, but it's a really good card. We get an Icy Manipulator here. We're going to play it. Obviously, we'll play it. And we're going to have to tap down some threats as we go here. I think we still have one more draw, but if we don't draw Eviscerate this next turn, I think we're in big trouble. We can also play her as a blocker if our opponent decides to throw the kitchen sink at us. So I think I'm going to tap Primordial Worm. Oh, shit. No, we can't play this as a blocker. That's okay. We had to do that. So our opponent coming in with everything. That's 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. If we double block Morrowind. Or we can chump block Morrowind and kill something else. So that's not great. Okay, I think we're pretty dead now, actually. We have no way to gain life, and our opponent has way too many creatures for us to deal with. So, shucks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, Yeah, I can't think of anything that we can really do to get out of this, so we're just going to double block there. That's too bad. I feel like if we had drawn Eviscerate one of the last, 1 or 2 draws where we had 8 mana and we were able to copy it, we would have been able to... Oh, okay, well, we just die from a pump spell, so... Crappy. Well, I guess that's it's just how it goes sometimes. I am very glad that I didn't play that deep freeze on our opponent's Dauntless Bodyguard at the start, though. There was, that would have saved us, I guess, maybe 2 life, 4 life, but in the end we were able to play a blocker out that Joseph S. could block that Dauntless Bodyguard the whole time. So that's one of those situations where you do want to take a couple extra damage so you don't have to use a removal spell early, because it was definitely worth it to put it on the 7/6 that our opponent had. Yeah, and Sharon, that tip is from Magic Arena. They say life total is a resource. You shouldn't be afraid to use it. It's a loading screen tip on Magic Arena. So, oh, interesting. Okay, so this is another really slow hand, but I'm actually okay at keeping this because of Icy Manipulator. This card is just so powerful, and we do have a way to flash in a blocker. We could get burnt here by a really fast deck, but I think this format is slow enough that just keeping some powerful cards and being on the play here helps too. This comes out a turn earlier than our opponent gets to play their turn 4 cards. So, although drawing something else would be nice. All right, see, and it's like we didn't get burnt here very bad because our opponent is they're going to play a 3-drop as their first spell, so. Nice, and we'll play out Icy Manipulator here. It's not worth keeping up this Master Wizard since it can only block ground creatures and they have a Pegasus Courser to attack us with. Oh, okay, so our opponent looks like they're playing the historic deck. They're playing black and white, and they have a payoff card in the Trapper here. The Trapper is pretty good as a solid creature with it it essentially tap something every turn every time you play a historic spell. We're at high enough life total that we're going to play out the Cloud Reader Sphinx. This also might force them to use a historic spell earlier than they would have liked. Yeah, that's I think it's the right play here since it blocks both of these guys pretty well. Okay, and what's our plan here? I do kind of like setting up a 7 mana turn where we get to copy Divination with the Master Wizard. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep them both on top and try and draw 4 cards with the Master Wizard. Next turn we'll play out the Tolarian Scholar and tap something. Oh yeah, there we go. They're just going to keep tapping. Alright. And then we'll play our Master Wizard and Divination next turn to try and gain a ton of value. So we do have Icy Manipulator up. They didn't tap anything. I'm gonna tap their Guardians here, and we'll force them to have something for our flyer. Okay, so they do have something. I think Adamant will, so it does +2/+2. That's what they're most likely to have. They could also have something that deals 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. Gideon's Reproach. I think we go here because we go on the Pegasus Courser because if they have Adamant Will, we don't lose our Cloud Reader Sphinx. And if they have Gideon's Reproach, then, yeah, okay, there it is. Then we should have maybe blocked here, but I don't know if that was worth it or not. Or if that would have been worth it or not. Okay, so it looks like maybe we don't actually get to do our cool 7 mana turn here. We're gonna have to tap something. If we play this out and draw 4 cards, we're gonna take 6 in the air and go to 6, which is a little too low for my liking. So I'm going to pass the turn here so we can keep up Icy Manipulator and our Master Wizard. Okay, so our opponent's going to tap our creature. Okay, and our opponent just keeps playing stuff. Jeez, like slow down, man. Okay, and we're gonna actually tap the Pegasus Courser here, I think. So we have an opportunity to block on the ground with our wizard. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Yeah. It's a few more damage that we're gonna take this way, but I really want to get rid of this tapper. We're not looking great right now. Vicious Offering kind of helps a little bit. We have 7 mana, 5 for that, and 1 for this. Can give us something here. Yeah, we're in a little bit of a tough spot. I think we're gonna play Soul Salvage. Actually, hang on here. How much mana does our opponent have? Or our opponent has enough mana to use Blood Tallow Candle too. Yeah, we're still gonna use this. We gotta use it and get back 2 creatures. And we're gonna keep up Vicious Offering and our Icy Manipulator. And we'll force our opponent to maybe play their Blood Tallow Candle here. Okay, interesting. So yeah, they didn't use it. Oh, I didn't even tap anything. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. I'm too out of it, guys. That's okay. We can still do what we want here. So we're going to block here. And we're going to have to Vicious Offering, sacrificing a creature to kill this guy. We'll take 3. Ugh. I can't believe I forgot to tap something there. That was really brutal. Okay, we are at 2. Is there any way for us to get out of this? We can play a blocker, we can tap one of their creatures, and hopefully live. Oh no, but their Blood Tallow Candle will kill whatever creature we play. Shoot. Okay, so we're going to have to try and draw an out here with Divination. If we draw a removal spell, if we draw Eviscerate, actually we can live another turn at least. Okay, no Eviscerate. Yeah, we are toast. That is too bad. Okay, we concede this one. Oh, rough. Our opponent had a few too many aggressive spells there. I can't believe I forgot to tap that. Jeez. If we would have had an extra 3 life there, that would have felt really good. Man, that is brutal. Well, you know what? I'm gonna blame this on this whole streaming thing. They say when you stream, your win percentage goes down, so that's what I'm gonna blame it on. Alright, another keepable hand. What is that emoji? Are you laughing at me, Grego? I don't know what that is. Alright, our opponent playing what I think is a really odd card in this format, a Skirk Prospector. This card is great and constructed, but man, it is not the best card in Limited. I mean, I guess it's holding back my Relic Runner right now, but a 1/1 for 1 that adds a mana is not where I want to be. And adds a mana by sacrificing, sorry. Ooh, okay. So our opponent thought they were aggressive, and then they didn't play anything there. That was really odd. I'm going to play out Josu Vess here, I think. Force them to have a removal spell. I don't think we want to attack with our 2/1, since we're just going to get attacked back for more. Well, there's the removal spell. Alright, well now let's play Icy Manipulator here. And I think after we play Icy Manipulator, I'm happy to attack with our Relic Runner. Our opponent playing 3 colors, which I think is pretty common. Us not splashing another color is kind of surprising, but I don't think we gained anything from our other colors by splashing. Like, we could have added more 5 mana removal, or yeah, that's pretty much it from white or red, but probably not worth it. Okay, I gotta remember this Icy Manipulator thing here, hey? When they go to combat, you're supposed to activate it and target your opponent's creature. That's how this works. And our opponent trying to figure out what to do on this very complicated board state. Just kidding. Maybe they'll sack this Prospector and they'll play something for 6. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. So they played a Caligo Skin Witch, which is really good, but a really gross name. It makes us discard 2 cards, which is quite good right now. So I'm actually going to get rid of... I don't even know. I think I get rid of Deep Freeze. We got Icy Manipulator. I don't really think we want another removal spell like this. Well, maybe we do. I'm going to keep the Sentinel, and we're going to get rid of Deep Freeze and the Jousting Lance. Alright, but we're just going to pass the turn here. We're not in a good spot to really attack or to play the Sentinel randomly. Who knows? The Sentinel might come in handy for saving our Icy Manipulator when our opponent goes to destroy it with that 5 mana red card. Alright, we're taking some beats. Oh, okay. So yeah, our opponent playing some of these. Eviscerate is here, Sharon, I agree. We're just going to pass the turn again, though. There's nothing really worth eviscerating right now, and we have some pretty good... I think we have some pretty good plays here, where we can tap the flyer, we can still block everything. Ooh, our opponent playing... This is a card that we would like to eviscerate, I think. Wait, did he play it with... Oh yeah, he played it with Kicker. So this is a really good card. So it's a 5/3 Trampler with haste, and it will stay around at the end of the turn. So we're going to tap it so we don't get hit for 5. Interesting. Our opponent playing around, or like not wanting to trade their Keldon Overseer for our Relic Runner. But that's not really what we're concerned about right now, I don't think. Let's get rid of the Skin Witch, I think. Actually, let's get rid of the Surveyor. So I want... Oh no, hang on. That's thinking too smart, I think. There is a card called Goblin Barrage, where you get to sacrifice an artifact as the kicker, and it deals 4 damage to the opponent. So there's some thought in getting rid of the Surveyor, so they would have to get rid of a better artifact in order to deal the 4 damage to us, but I don't think it was really worth it there, because we can block the Surveyor with the Relic Runner and trade with it. I think that the 1 less toughness is actually worth more to our opponent. So here, do I want to... I think I want to eviscerate this Skizik, or maybe not, actually. We're in not a bad spot right now. No, I think let's just pass the turn. This is another spot where, like, I don't want to use up my removal early on cards that we can just tap down or block profitably. I think it's best to save your removal for those really big spells that your opponent has. Ooh. So our opponent playing really good equipment, or really good right now. They can equip it for 7. It gets +1/+1 for each land they control. So there's that's +7/+7 right now. And we're gonna tap. I think now that kind of changes my plan. I'm gonna tap this flyer. And if our opponent attacks with Skizzik, we're just going to block with our 3/3. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let's, we're going to try and take them off of as many creatures as we can, I think, right now. Oh, brutal. Oh, man. And we are getting blown out by this Garna card. She returns all creature cards that were put in the graveyard this turn. So, wow. That was a play that I did not see coming. Okay, well, now we're going to have to kill something with Vicious Offering here. Let's get rid of the... I guess everything has haste right now, too, with this guy. Maybe we save this to put on... No, because they're going to put this on... Wow, we put ourselves in a tough spot here. Okay, we're going to kill the flyer here. And it looks like we're going to have to kill something else. And then worry about tapping stuff down. Oh, that is rough. This is not a good situation here, guys. Yeah, I think we have to do this. We're going to get rid of the haste lady and pass the turn. Yeah, alright. We got a 5/3. So we'll tap that down. We're going to take 4. Come on, deck. Gotta get something. Oh, it's too slow, the Memorial to Genius. It's the first time I've ever said that. So we're actually we're dead. We're dead on board right now. Our opponent just has to equip the Black Blade to their Skittering Surveyor, and we'll take 8. So, good games, my friend Horse Shadow. You got it. And I die. Oh man, that was brutal. Well, I thought our deck was a little better than that, but wow, did we get stomped. Not a great one. And it's only 8-11, so I guess we're going to have to draft again. I mean, we can't leave it at that. Also, what did I say in the chat today, Grego? I said because I went 7-2 in my last 2 drafts, I'll go 1-3 tonight. So that is what happened. All right, let's try again. Oh, that was an interesting one. I don't know if we should have been blue-red in that draft, and maybe that was better, but yeah, I wish I just knew a better future, though, Grego. You know, predicting a lame future is not great. Oh, sorry. Yes, my chair is squeaky. I don't have the option of a nice, comfy home chair and, you know, closing a door to a nice office. I'm in a hotel room, you know? I don't think they worry too much about people being too loud on their office chairs in the hotel. Do you notice it being worse, Grego, the internet? Because I knew it cut out at the start, but I think it's been going since. Okay, here we go, guys. Deep breath. Okay. So, we have a Saga that creates, eventually, a 6/6 flying trample demon, and it makes us sacrifice a creature every upkeep, but it creates us 4 clerics before we get there, so that's okay. Oh, mini cutouts. Oh no, that's not good. We also have Goblin Barrage. This is the card I was talking about. It's a decent removal spell that deals damage to a Planeswalker. We also have Grun here with it doubles its power and toughness when it attacks alone, which is okay. We have Cloud Reader Sphinx, which is great, but I don't know what's the pick here. I feel like this card was pretty good when I played it in the past. This might be too fancy, and maybe it's too easy to deal with the 6/6 flyer. But let's try this. Let's see if we can make this work. All right, pick 2. Okay, so this is an example of a pack where all these cards are like mediocre to bad, in my opinion. Llanowar Elves is actually probably one of the better cards in this because it'll ramp us to some better stuff and still be a 1/1 creature that we can equip later. There's the Caligo Skin Witch, which is a really bad 2-drop, or a pretty bad 2-drop that also is a good 6-drop. The multicolor card, Shanna, I mean, she's okay, but you have to have a ton of creatures for her to be good. And this Warcry Phoenix, he's just a 2/2 flyer for 4. And sure, you can make him come back by paying 3 mana and attacking with 3 creatures, but that's not great value. So here we're going to pick the Surveyor. The Surveyor is great at fixing mana. This is like Environmental Sciences from Strixhaven. Yes, Sharon, I saw the Skizix, the card that has haste there. Yeah, it doesn't give haste; it has haste. So, okay, so now we have a few good cards to pick from. Fungal Plots is actually surprisingly good. You get to make 1/1s and sacrifice Saprolings to draw cards and gain life. I think this is a really solid card. It might be a little early to pick it if we don't know we're in the green and black deck. Knight of Malice is also solid. I think this might be the pick here because it keeps us in one color. And it's quite good with the first strike and being a solid 2-drop. But I think like these two still being here, the Saproling Migration, which is solid, and this, it means green could be open as our second color. All right, pick 4. Baloth Gorger is a really big, solid creature. It costs 4 or 8 for a 4 mana or a 7/7, or sorry, a 4/4 or a 7/7. It's not bad. Deathbloom Thallid is also not bad. This is some good value. This goes really well with our demon that comes out of the right. It gives us 2 creatures to sacrifice. I don't think anything in this pack is really a signal. There's also this Blood Tallow Candle, which I don't mind as a removal spell that we can get fairly late, and it goes in every deck. But I think I'm going to pick the Deathbloom Thallid and stick with black for now. This isn't really a signal to me at this point. I think it's more of just a random beefy creature. Yeah, once again, looks like not a real signal. There's this Joda person who we saw in the first pack or the first draft. Not really a 5-color theme in this pick. What got me last time? Oh, Pierce the Sky. Yes, Pierce the Sky is. I don't think we want to be picking Pierce the Sky very highly still, Sharon. I would rather have real removal and worry about like having my own flyers and reach. But you're right, it definitely got us. Our Arcane Flight was really bad there. I'm going to pick Fungal Infection. This is a solid card. You can ambush a couple cards with this, and it makes you win combat and gives you a body to stick around. So pick this. Ooh, okay, so it does kind of look like green is the open second color here. I'll comment that the Caligo Skin Witch is good. It got us last time, right? This made us discard 2 cards when we didn't want to later in the game. But I think these 2 cards are starting to be signals. So the Spore Swarm is really solid. For 4 mana, you get 3 1/1s at instant speed, and the Yavimaya Shepherd puts out 2 bodies for 3. Actually, I think the Yavimaya Shepherd might be a better pick here. Yeah, we'll pick this for now. But I think these are going to be really good if we do end up in the black and green Thallid deck. Okay, kind of a weak pack here. There is a Pierce the Sky, Sharon. We could pick this here if you wanted, but I think I'm more likely to pick the Llanowar Envoy, just as a way to splash. She's not bad. She's a 3/2 for 3, and you get to you filter mana to splash something if you want. The rest of this pack isn't very good. There's a couple of random 2-drops and a 4 mana 3/3 that mills your opponent, but I think we're going to pick the Llanowar Envoy here and go with the green-black theme for now. Alright, so I'll comment on a couple cards here. This Keldon Overseer is actually, it's okay in an aggressive red deck. It's a 3 mana 3/1 haste, and then later you get to active treason something with the kicker effect. You get to take control of one of their creatures. It's not a signal or anything. I don't think I'd switch for it. Krosan Druid is an okay card. It's a solid card. This, you can kick it to gain 10 life, which is really good. And Mesa Unicorn is also okay. I just don't think it's very good when paired with black. Oh, and look at this. The Skizzik came back to us. I think this card is good enough that it shouldn't wheel. So I think we'll pick it here. It's better than picking like Broken Bond. Broken Bond is okay in this format. Having one of these effects is okay. I don't think it's amazing. A Primordial Worm obviously got us last time as being a big creature, but I think we picked this Skizzik in case we just get a flood of red here. And we didn't get really a flood of red, but we do have some okay red cards. The Rampaging Cyclops is okay. When it gets blocked by 2 creatures, it gets -2/-0, which isn't great, but it's a 4/4 when they only have 1 good creature to block with. And yeah, it's still a solid blocker. I think that's okay. Oh, but Fungal Plots made it back to us. It's kind of a confusing first draft. I guess maybe black wasn't really a signal for us because we picked 3 black cards in a row, or 4 black cards in a row with a Skittering Surveyor in there. So we should kind of watch that here, but Flame of Keld. Oh, this makes your red sources deal extra damage, but you have to discard your hand at the start, which isn't great. We're just going to pick a 2-drop here. And we're going to put that one in the sideboard. We don't really want to play that. We'll pick a Prospector and another Prospector, just in case we want to do what that other guy did. Okay, pack 2. Alright, we have the Fall of Thran. So this is interesting. I don't think it's very good in limited. There's no real way to break this synergy, but it destroys all lands, and then you each return 2 lands at a time from your graveyard to your hand, or from your graveyard to the battlefield. There's just no way to break this symmetry, so it's not very good. I do think in this pack, however, we have some good black cards. We have Thallid Soothsayer, which we can sacrifice our tokens to draw cards, and we have Thallid Omnivore, which is a great way to make your board of 1/1s into a threatening single creature. I think the Thallid Soothsayer is a better pick right now because we'll probably see another one of these Omnivores. You only really want one of these in most decks that aren't the Thallid deck anyway, so we'll pick that here and hope the Omnivore wheels to us. Alright, pick 2, Garna. This is the card that our opponent played against us in the last draft. It's a 5 mana, and it returns all creature cards that were put in the graveyard that turn to your hand. So you can do silly things like attack with it, and attack. You can attack with all of your stuff, and they can have really good blocks, and then you still get to return everything and reuse it. So I think this is a solid card. It also gives everything haste, and we could splash it even in our black and green deck with Skittering Surveyor. So that'll be the pick here. And Sharon, I believe they fixed the Thallid Omnivore now. They do let you gain life off of it now, which was not the case a couple of days ago, which was kind of sad. I ran into that bug, and I tried to gain life to save myself and as part of a block, and it didn't work out for me, and I was pretty upset. Not great, that's for sure. Okay, this pack is not very good for our current colors. Champion of Flame really needs to be in the red and white deck, but it is good there, getting +2/+2 for each aura and equipment that's attached to it, and having trample already is solid. We could pick a Drudge Sentinel or a Llanowar Scout. Pegasus Courser is probably the best thing in this pack. This is kind of awkward. I think I'm actually just going to pick the champion in case we end up in some weird deck. We can maybe pick some auras and make this into a reasonable creature, but right now it doesn't look like this will make the cut in our deck. Okay, pick 4. Kind of another awkward pack for us. Yargle is okay, but not amazing. This is a really good card to bring back with Garna. You'll obviously trade this for something on your opponent's board and then get to play it again with haste, which is solid. And this is probably our pick here, but it's not very exciting. Like we'd rather have something that synergizes a little better with our green and black, or even our red. So let's pick Yargle and see what that. Some of these packs can just be kind of weak in Dominaria. Some of them don't have very good cards. So there's quite a few cards in this set that are really mediocre, or below average, like Rescue. This Baird guy is quite good. We didn't see a lot of white in that first pack beyond those Mesa Unicorns, so I don't think it's worth trying to switch into this. And this land, adding mana for each swamp, is not very effective when it costs 3. So we're going to go with the Windgrace Acolyte here. This is a solid card. Gaining the life is really nice. Giving you a flying threat is nice. And sometimes even milling yourself is good in order to take advantage of some of the soul salvage type cards in this format. Okay, pick 6. There's a couple of good blue cards. Once again, I don't think we want to switch here. I don't really want to pick another Krosan Druid. Having a bunch of 2/3s isn't great, and the gaining 10 life thing at 8 mana doesn't really make this into that much better of a late game card. So I'm gonna pick. Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna pick this Gitu Journey Mage, just as a dude. And kind of similar here, I think I'm just gonna pick the Mammoth Spider as a dude, and we're gonna cut one of these 5-drops here. So pack 2 not being great for us doesn't mean that we didn't pick the right deck. I think that in pack 3 we can still get rewarded for sticking in our colors, but we kind of want to hedge a little bit to red, I think, as we're going. Yeah, another not great pack. Tiana's only good with auras and equipment, and we don't have a ton of those in these colors. Those are definitely mostly in white. Run Amok is probably the best card for us here. If we end up in a green-red deck, this could be really good to help us push through damage, or even red-black if we have an aggressive deck with Yargle. So we'll pick that and be okay with it. Gaia's Blessing can let us shuffle cards from a graveyard into the library, and we draw a card, but it's not really a playable limited card here. I'm just going to pick a 2-drop. I really highly doubt we're going to play this, but we'll pick it just in case we absolutely need it. How many legendary? Oh, it's not going to say in here how many legendary creatures we have. We have a couple legendary creatures. I'm going to pick the Combat Trick here. We'll get a Frenzied Rage just in case we end up playing Champion of Flame. Gitu Lava Runner could be okay if we're in an aggressive deck with some instants and sorceries. And we'll just round out this draft with some tricks and stuff. Ooh, okay. So pack 3, we have a really nice card for the green and black deck with Slimefoot the Stowaway. This card is really solid in that it makes all of your Saprolings kind of into guys that you can either chump and drain them with or attack and drain them with. It makes your big board into a very threatening board, and it makes creatures later in the game. It's a great mana sink. I think I'm going to pick it. This Mishra's Self-Replicator is actually pretty good in a dedicated historic deck where you get to copy this over and over again by adding 1 to every historic spell you play, but we're not really set up for that in our black and green deck or our black and red deck. So we're going to pick Slimefoot here. Ooh, okay, so we get the Eldest Reborn. It's a good sign that this is here. I guess our opponent took a rare, so it's not guaranteed that they're not in black, but we're going to take the Eldest Reborn for sure. This is a very solid card. Lots of value out of that one. And maybe white was what we were supposed to be in after all, because this Pegasus Courser is still here. It's a really good card. There's 2 options here for us. We can pick Grow from the Ashes to help us splash and stay in three colors and ramp us, or we can pick the Skin Witch. I'm actually partial to the Skin Witch in this deck. We're not really ramping into anything crazy here, and we already have the Skittering Surveyor to help us splash. I think the Grow from the Ashes is okay, but not amazing. I'd rather have the Skin Witch as a way to empty our opponent's hand later in the game, and also give us a 2-drop if our opponent is being very aggressive. Okay, so we're going to stick with black and green here as a theme. We're going to pick the Saproling Migration. This will work really well with our Valid Soothsayer and Slimefoot the Stowaway. So we're going to pick Saprolings Migration here, and this is a solid 2-drop or a solid 6-drop. We do kind of want something like this Baloth Gorger to fill out kind of the higher end of our curve, but I think we're just going to pick Saprolings Migration here. This is nice. So Vicious Offering is another good card in the black and green sacrifice deck or in the Thalid deck. Getting to sacrifice a creature to give another one -5/-5 is very solid. And yeah, we do need some removal in this deck, so we're going to pick Vicious Offering. Okay, and I think I'm happy enough with what we've seen in this pack that we can put all this red in the sideboard. We're not going to play any of this red except for maybe Garna, so we're going to keep it like this for now. And here we have another solid removal spell. This is really efficient. You get to exile a creature for 4 mana. The second part of the text doesn't really do anything with the Planeswalkers, but we can pick this here. Nice. Okay, and we have Whisper Blood Liturgist, which is also really good in the green-black sacrifice deck. She recycles your Saprolings into better creatures that have died that are in your graveyard. I think that's really solid, and it's good to see some other good options here with the Acolyte and the Baloth Gorger. So we're going to pick this here though as another way to take advantage of all our little 1/1s, and here we'll get a bigger creature here with the Primordial Worm. All right, and I don't think we need another 3-drop. I mean, we don't need another 5-drop either, but maybe there's a higher chance that we'll play this Windgrace Acolyte than another Krosan Druid. So let's pick the Windgrace Acolyte. There's really no way we're playing a lot of these cards now. I guess we could take Adventurous Impulse in case. I doubt we'll play that. I like this Gitu Chronicler, but I kind of doubt we'll play this one as well. We might actually splash this, even though it has a double red, because we have a Llanowar Envoy and a Skittering Surveyor. I kind of doubt it, but pick that here. And we'll pick this Seismic Shift. Fill out our deck with random cards, and hope this one does a little better than last time. That last one was not our best draft ever, that's for sure. Okay, so we have 16 creatures, but we actually have more because we have the Saproling Migration. We have Fungal Plots that makes creatures. We have like a couple of other guys in here that add an additional token to the board, and we have the Rite of Bells and Luck, which adds a bunch of cards to our board as well, a bunch of tokens. So I'm definitely going to cut a 5-drop. I'm going to cut Yargle. He doesn't attack very well into anything unless you can give him evasion. We have no ways to give him flying, first strike, nothing like that. So he's very weak in this deck, especially. And I think I want to take out another 5-drop, or maybe this Blessing of Belzenlock as well. We don't have a ton of legendary creatures. I think that's really the only time you play this is for the lifelink. And we have a 1-mana trick with Fungal Infection, so, and some 2-mana tricks in Vicious Offering and Gift of Growth. So we'll cut that. And I think our last cut to get us down to 18 lands is going to be another one of these 5-drops. And we're going to cut... I think we're going to cut Windgrace Acolyte, one of them. Well, we don't have a ton of flying. Yeah, I think we still cut one of these Windgrace Acolytes here. And, well, actually no, we do not have a ton of flying. Well, that's still the pick, I think. I think the Primordial Worm will end up being better than the Windgrace Acolyte in this deck. And we're going to play 2 mountains. Because we're playing 18 lands, I feel more comfortable having 2 mountains, even though I have the Envoy and the Skittering Surveyor to also get the red for Garna. It just, with 18 lands, your ability to play multiple lands that don't add your 2 primary colors is a little higher, especially because the Surveyor can go and search for a black or a green if you already have a red. So let's check our mana here. Looks like it's a little more black than green, but we need green just as much as black in the early game. So I think it's going to be an even split again. We'll just add 1 swamp and 1 forest, and we're going to try to give this a better. Hopefully, this gives us a little bit of a better run here with the black-green sacrifice deck. It's too bad we didn't get a Thallid Omnivore, though. I was really hoping we would get one of those in addition to the Thallid Soothsayer. I don't know now in hindsight. I think I would rather have the Omnivore than the Soothsayer in a deck like this, but we didn't know at the time, so it was probably better to pick the uncommon and make sure that we had one of those in case we got a Omnivore as well. Alright, so keepable hand here. We're going to see how this Rite of Belzenlock works when we play it out early. And by early, I mean turn 4. Hopefully they don't have a way to get rid of our 6/6 flyer after we play this and it ticks up a couple times. Okay, here, because our opponent is playing some 2/2s, I think I'm going to play this Krosan Druid over the Skittering Surveyor just to give us a blocker. Ooh, and they have Dub, so we're going to take 4 here, and actually we're going to switch up our play this next turn. We're going to have to kill this Messy Unicorn. That first strike is just is too much on the Unicorn. We could play the Mammoth Spider next turn to block this, but I just don't see us, like if they have any combat trick or removal for this, we're going to take 4 multiple turns in a row. So we got to get rid of this and just be happy to get a 2-for-1 here on the opponent. And our opponent with green and white, I'm kind of surprised that they're playing a card like Dub. I thought they'd try and go wide more than go big, but I guess there's both of those possibilities when you have cards like Dub and Jousting Lance, and that you can make any of your creatures into threats. So here's a very opportune time to play the Rite of Belzenlock. Let's start this going, and we have enough blockers for their 2/3s and 2/2s that we're feeling a little more comfortable now. I have to say, I think green and white, I don't know that I ever really drafted green and white before. It just a lot of the cards in green and white didn't really seem to go together very well to me. Although this one is really good. So Song of Freyalise, it's the third part of this that's really good. It lets you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. They gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible on that turn, so they're gonna have a big turn attacking us. And here our opponent is attacking with both of their creatures, which I find odd. I'm going to make them use whatever trick they have here and block. I think that's how we want to do this. Yeah, that way something like Mammoth Spider is more likely to survive this next turn. And I think we are going to play the Mammoth Spider out here as a block. And on our turn, we'll get a 6/6 flyer and see if our opponent has some removal. Ooh, that is really good for them with this. With the song, they're going to get to put a 1/1 counter on every creature here that they control, and they'll be indestructible. So that's great for them. We'll only be able to block a couple of these, so we're really going to have to watch this. And I'm wondering if we play multiple creatures out. I guess neither of these guys can block very well. So I'm going to play this Caligo's Skin Witch and make our opponent discard the last card that they have. I think that's better than playing out two creatures that can't really block very well. Or even one and holding up the Gift of Growth. And let's hope we get a real spell here. Okay, they did have an Adamant Will. That's good to get rid of. We're not going to attack, and our opponent is going to come in with a lot of creatures here, and we're going to be forced to block. So let's block 3. So if we take these 3, we go to 6. We have 4 clerics here to sacrifice still to our demon, plus 2 more creatures in our hand. So I think I'm going to block 1 more and go to 8. Yeah, I think that's better than going down to 6. So let's do this. I guess that's only 1 life we saved, but that's all right. Okay, so we're sacrificing one of our clerics here. We're going to need to try and put out some creatures to block with. But now we can start eating their creatures with Mammoth Spider, so I don't feel as bad. Yeah, Aggro, trample. That is why it was only 1 life. So I guess I shouldn't have blocked there. I think I'm gonna play. Well, yeah, hang on here. Yeah, I'm gonna play out these 2 guys and play the land and keep up Gift of Growth here. So let's go like this and search for a forest. And this way we keep up Gift of Growth in case they have a fight spell or something to hit us with. It's not pro-white actually, Grayo. It's only hexproof from white. So it has first strike, but we wouldn't have been able to play it last turn as a good blocker from their trample creatures. Or their indestructible creatures. So, alright, let's get rid of another one of our clerics. These guys are so loyal, they're sacrificing themselves for their god. That's great. And we're just going to keep attacking with the flyer here. I don't think it's worth it to try and attack with anything else yet. And let's play out the Saproling Migration and keep up Gift of Growth. Ooh, okay, so our opponent really going wide here with another Sergeant at Arms kick. I wouldn't be surprised if they start attacking soon. I mean, they can't really race this unless they have a something to kill the demon, but alright, let's just keep attacking. And then this gives +4/+4, so we can't really kill them this turn. I don't think it was worth it to try and attack with everything. They have enough blockers, so... And then we'll play the Windgrace Acolyte out. I think at this point, we aren't playing around them having a sweeper, because they have enough creatures out that if they had a sweeper, I think it would be pretty bad for them too. Alright, so we got there on the back of our flyer. That's pretty good. It actually, the fact that we got into such a board stall there makes me want to reconsider the other Windgrace Acolyte for our deck. So just let me take one quick look here. Yeah, I guess it was a great first pick. You're right, Craigo. Yeah. I think, the only thing I'd take out for the Windgrace Acolyte is this Primordial Worm, and I kind of like having one giant creature in the deck to block with. So I think we'll leave this alone for now. Yeah, I don't remember this card being that great, but I think it's because I tried to jam the that first pick that we had into some decks where it didn't really belong. You know, tried to jam it in a deck with not a lot of tokens and just sacrifice the 4 that it creates. And it's often too slow for that, and you need those O1s to block sometimes in the meantime. So. Oh man, Ogre Battle Cruiser. Jeez, that's a little scary. Okay, I think we can keep this hand. It's not great. I wish we had one of our creatures, some kind of a creature here to play, because like I said, blocking is better than removing things in this format than in others. But this is a solid hand. So we got a 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop now. I think that's what we're hoping to play out. Right, we're not going to kill the Deathbloom Thallid with Vicious Offering. Don't like giving away the free value there. Okay, our opponent's splashing blue. I wonder, they probably have, I'd say splashing blue in these color combinations. I want to say they have Tatyova, the benthic druid lady. That's just how, that's what I would splash in these colors. I don't think there's very much in blue that I would splash. So, I mean, they could also be splashing green, but because they search for the blue mana with the Skittering Surveyor, it's more likely that's what they were splashing. So let's see here. We can either settle the score and get rid of this Thallid without giving them value, or I think more likely we're just going to play out this Soothsayer. We'll trade blows back and forth with the Envoy and the Deathbloom Thallid for a minute. Yeah, we're not going to block here. We also get to gain some life off our Winggrace Acolyte, so we're more in this race than our opponent knows right now. Okay, and we're going to attack with both creatures now. And we'll play the Winggrace Acolyte. And our opponent could also, they could have a Vicious Offering right now and kill our Winggrace Acolyte. But, oh yeah, there it is. But I still think it's right there. We still get to gain 3 life. We're still the aggro in this case for the time. We have 2 removal spells here for anything they play out. Our only other option there was to maybe play the Saprolings and keep up, or sorry, the Sap Herd and keep up the Soothsayer sacrifice, but I don't think that was really worth it, so. Our opponent playing the Cloud Reader Sphinx, which is, once again, this is a solid card. I really like this card. Getting the Scry 2 right away is pretty good value on a 3/4 flyer. Okay, and our opponent going a little more on the defensive now. I think we're going to use the Sap Herd and use Vicious Offering on the, well, hang on, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's our best play. We're going to play the Sap Herd, and we're going to use Vicious Offering on the Cloud Reader Sphinx while they're still tapped out. I think that's better than giving them a turn here. We kind of have to deal with that. I think it's better than playing Settle the Score too. And this time I'm not going to attack with anything. I think now we want to keep mana open to have our sacrifice effect to draw cards in case our opponent plays something crazy. We don't have very good attacks right now. We're just going to have to pass the turn. So I wonder if our opponent has something to put on the Cold Water Snapper. I like this Cold Water Snapper as a card that you can put like Arcane Flight on. It has hexproof. It's really good for that. So I think these cards are better than they look, actually. All right, so we're gonna play out Whisper. We have no we have a couple creatures that we can actually bring back here with Primordial Worm or the Windgrace Acolyte. So I hope this survives a turn, and then we get to set up some blocks where we can block something and sacrifice and bring back a big guy. I think that'll be a pretty cool play. And our opponent playing, like, maybe they are splashing green here, and I don't know what exactly they would splash in green offhand, but it looks like they're more of the blue-black control deck than they are a green-black deck. They could be splashing for, who's the black-green guy again? Oh, Slimefoot the Stowaway. I don't know, I'm so worried when our opponent does stuff like this, when they sit around and wait, like they're gonna come out and just kill us, just wreck us. But doesn't always happen that way, I guess. Here's Slimefoot for us. Okay, so I think we are gonna play this out. We're gonna run out Slimefoot the Stowaway. Now we have something to create tokens, we have something to sacrifice tokens, and we have something to bring back big creatures from our graveyard. So this is a pretty good setup unless our opponent has some removal. And even if our opponent does have removal, Whisper being open right now lets us sacrifice some creatures to get value off of it. I'm worried that they're just going to get an Arcane Flight, put it on this Cold Water Snapper, and we won't be able to race it. So there is that potential still. But we do have some cool plays, like we get to recycle these creatures over and over again if we want, if Whisper stays out. Ooh, okay. Well, that's fine. I'm surprised that they picked the Thallid Soothsayer, actually. I guess they just don't want us getting value out of anything that we're playing right now, but one of these two, like, probably Whisper would have been the better target, in my opinion. Okay, so here I don't mind losing a creature, but we're gonna... Oops, I should have made a token. God damn it. Okay. Well, I didn't make a token, so we're gonna have to block this a little differently. I think this time I'm just gonna have to block these two guys and bring back something. Yeah, that's how this is gonna go this time. Stupid. Okay, well, so those are our blocks. We're gonna take 3 here because I wasn't very smart. We're going to sacrifice and bring back our Primordial Worm, I think. I think we want the Primordial Worm out so we can stop the Cold Water Snappers and threaten some good attacks. We can't attack that well since they have two cards that they're really willing to throw away in front of the Primordial Worm. No, or they'll just bounce it back to our hand. That's fine. Not a huge deal. And we'll make a token at the end of their turn, which is what we should have done. We should have played that and blocked, but I kind of missed that, sadly. So I'm going to replay the Primordial Worm, and we'll play our Knight of Malice, and we're going to just keep trying to get value out of our Slimefoot and Whisper combo here. Alright. Okay, so now we can start creating tokens over and over again and sacrificing them to bring back our Thallid Soothsayer or our Windgrace Acolyte. So So we're feeling pretty good. And I think in this case we're going to attack with Primordial Worm and start putting them into the Abyss where they have to block with a creature every turn. We don't even mind if they double block since we're going to get to bring this back eventually, I believe. And we'll deal 7 damage, so we'll do it that way and get rid of 2 of their creatures here. Alright, and we'll just end the turn. Oh, so grindy. Alright, we're going to make a token, we're going to make another token, and we're going to sacrifice those tokens to bring back our 7/6. Awesome. And we'll drain them for 2 in the process. Wow. How good does this feel? Oh man. After our last draft, this is more like how we wanted this to go. Oh, I guess I could have played this and tried to kill them here, but I'm kind of worried they still have something. Let's just end the turn. Okay. They conceded. Nice. So two wins for this one. I'm going to play one more game and then call it an evening, I think. Being up at site and going to work is a little early for me, so just 2 hours of drafting tonight, and I'll maybe try and stream the rest of this draft tomorrow night if I have a chance. Ooh, we're playing against number 71 in the world. That's neat. And I think we can keep... This isn't a great hand, but I think we can keep this. What are these emoji faces that you keep... What is that, Grego? I don't even know. How did you find these? Like, you're using faces that I've never seen before. I mean, not that I've played on Twitch for that long, but like, wow. Okay, so our opponent's gonna mill us here. It's kind of funny because we're gonna play out Whisper here, which can bring stuff back from our graveyard. Oh, frequently used. Well, look at you go. So our opponent didn't mill anything that was amazing for us with Whisper, but I just think it's funny when our opponent mills us and then we have something that takes advantage of it. I feel like it's a fallacy to mill your opponent every time with these cards. So I kind of interesting that way. And I'm going to play out Windgrace Acolyte. I know this mills me some more, and that's actually good for us because we want to have a good target for Whisper. We didn't hit it there, but I think it's important to keep that in mind. Ooh, okay, well, our opponent played the Skin Witch, and lucky for us, we get to discard 2 lands. I don't think we want to discard a Mammoth Spider here to try and take advantage of Whisper. I think it's best to just get rid of these 2 lands now while we have them, and just cast the Mammoth Spider normally. And I think we let this through for 3, because we're going to start attacking with our flyer and force them to use the Icy Manipulator on it instead of the Mammoth Spider. Ooh, but our opponent has the combo that we never got to assemble last draft, which is getting to tap something every turn with Icy Manipulator. So they can keep 2 things, or 1 thing from blocking and attacking. So that's really good, obviously. And I think we're going to have to start... so they didn't want to attack, though, which is kind of weird. Alright, so let's see. Our opponent will probably tap our Windgrace Acolyte here. Yeah, okay. We are not going to attack. We don't have good attacks. Oh, they have way too high of toughness. We're only going to kill 1 thing with our Mammoth Spider. But we are going to play Slimefoot out, I think. just having a way to create bodies for that Whisper, I think, is a really good, really a great effect for us right now. Okay, so now our opponent's going to start getting a little more aggressive. Probably attacking with just the Hominid. We're not going to block. We don't have great blocks. I don't want to lose either of our legendary creatures. So, oh, hey, Travis. We did awful. As I said, we went 1-3 in the first draft, but now we are 2-0 in a second draft. And it seems like black-green is the way to go for us. Our first draft, we had, similar to this deck, we had combo with Voltaic Servant and Icy Manipulator, and we had Traxos, but didn't go very well. I think it's still worth it even with the bug too, Travis, but we did not get one of those. We got the Thallid Soothsayer. We picked it over a Thallid Omnivore, which I'm not sure was correct, but it's what we picked. So, and I think we don't have anything to bring back right now. We are not going to attack, and I'm just going to play out this Thallid, Deathbloom Thallid. And I think they fixed the bug, Travis. I think that was fixed in my draft yesterday, but I'm not entirely sure though. So maybe you're right. All right, so our opponent's still looking to attack here. Maybe not. Yeah, so they're happy to just keep our Windgrace Acolyte at bay, but I think now is when we're going to just start making a... Oh, we're not going to auto pass, I guess. That's fine. I think we're just going to start making a token every turn and then returning cards. And I'm going to actually attack here with the Deathbloom Thallid. I think if we start trading with their creatures, regardless of what they are, we're going to get value out of Whisper and put our opponent in a tough spot. Also, there's not a ton of good sweepers in this format. Like, I can't even really think of one, honestly. So I think we're just going to play this slow. Like, I'm not even going to use this Fungal Infection aggressively here because we want to value this out. So we're gonna make a token, and they're gonna tap our Whisper, I guess. I don't know why they would do that. Don't do that. Oh, Phyrexian Scriptures. That's true, Travis. Yeah. And even that one is one you can see coming, so I'm not entirely sure that's worth playing around at this point. Hey. Okay, interesting. So our opponent didn't tap anything. We're gonna attack with both of these two guys. I don't think we attack with Mammoth Spider there still. Like, Mammoth Spider is our best blocker. It's really good to keep around. I think trading with the Deathbloom Thallid over and over is still fine. Okay, that is I guess a play that they can do. Tap our Whisper. Okay, so now we have to kind of watch out for our opponent trying to mill us out. So the Hominid's going to put us down to 12 cards. I mean, it's not like we don't have any cards left, but it is something to watch here. Yeah, Urza's Ruinous Blast is another one. You're right, Travis. Yeah. All right, so let's just keep making tokens. All right, we have a Saproling migration, so that's not bad. Let's see here. Yeah, I saw that, Travis, in your stream. Getting milled is pretty brutal in this format, mostly because you feel good while it's happening. Like you do get a lot of value out of your um, out of drawing a lot of cards in this format. So it's kind of random to feel bad about drawing cards later in the game. So yeah, our opponent here, I did attack with Mammoth Spider because we are a little lower on cards, and I think we like in a spot like this we get to fungal infection them and kill their Homerid. Um, yeah, we'll do that, and we really need to chip down their creatures here so that we can so we can get them to zero before we run out of cards or before they draw a way to get out of this. Oh my god, another Homerid Explorer. Shit. Okay, so this is why I sped up the clock here. So yeah, and our first pick of Rite of Bells and Lock has gone into the graveyard. Not great for us. All right. We're going to bring back, I guess Deathbloom Thallid is our biggest creature in the graveyard right now. So let's hope that with Slimefoot and attacking with our guys, we can make our way through our opponent's stuff. It's really interesting that we haven't drawn another land. This is one situation where I wish we had a bunch of land to play out stuff and to activate Slimefoot twice, but instead we haven't really gotten that. So not the worst, but something to be like a little worried about when you have 18 lands and you don't draw any. It's kind of shitty that way. And I wonder if we start attacking with Saprolings and the Krosan Druid. Let's see, they have 5 blockers. Yeah, Travis, that's a pretty good point. But I mean, they could have just as easily have a another soul salvage, and get back their Homerid Explorer. So I think I'd rather keep going with creating the tokens and draining our opponent, I think. So let's attack with everything here. It's going to force some awkward blocks. I guess the Krosan Druid is a pretty bad attack for us there, but I thought they'd try and kill our Mammoth Spider again. Okay, and we're going to sacrifice these two Saprolings to get back our Yavimaya Sapling. Okay, and we'll go to damage. And I think we keep, well, actually this creates more Saprolings for us, so sacking the Druid, I guess, wouldn't have really mattered. They blocked both of our Saprolings anyway there, so there wasn't a way for us to get damage. So actually, on this turn, I'm going to play out Llanowar Envoy and the Saproling Migration. We're going to have to try and go wide here on our opponent. All right. Okay, so now is maybe when I settle the score. So let's get rid of their, well, yeah, I think getting rid of the Homerid, like you said, in case they bounce it, Travis. Let's try that. Oh, okay, and we got there. Nice, good stuff. Okay, that was a little closer than it should have been, but we did it. All right, and I said that was my last game, and I'm going to be truthful with that. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you guys very much for watching. Got to get up early for work, so I guess maybe for Travis, I'll just show the deck that we built. It's a pretty solid black and green sacrifice deck, but it's nothing amazing. We're still playing some random cards like Gift of Growth, and things like Llanowar Envoy to splash. It's definitely not ideal, but yeah, it's pretty good, I think. The other consideration we had was putting in this other Windgrace Acolyte instead of something. I don't think it's worth it right now. I like having Gift of Growth better because when you go wide, sometimes you just need to target the one creature or two creatures they didn't block with a Gift of Growth in order to kill them. I kind of like that better as a way to win rather than just playing another Windgrace Acolyte. So yes, boo people with responsibilities, but that is it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm glad this second draft is going much better than the first, and we end up +1 win on the night. So thanks again, and yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon.